Te Kapunga, what's your response to the government decision to backflip on the exotic permanent forestry policy?
So our response to the government's change of heart around the exotics in the permanent category is one of cautious optimism. We are very pleased that the government has listened to, I guess, what we consider a reasoned argument around why exotics should be included in the permanent category. And without going into too much detail, we're pleased that that has been heard. What we're cautiously optimistic about, however, is that they haven't actually said they are not going to do that.
Yeah.
They have said that they will probably not do that, but they are withholding the right to do it at a later date through their own decision-making processes. And that's not the same as saying it won't happen. As a result of that, there is still an issue of uncertainty in terms of investment opportunities, which has and will continue to result in Māori missing out on that private investment or equity which could have assisted us to afforest our underproductive, underperforming lands. And so whilst it is a good thing that the government has listened, the problem still remains that there is not 100% certainty that that's not going to happen anytime soon, unfortunately.
How much iwi land is there that iwi landowners stand to benefit from having in exotic permanent plantings, and how much is that land worth in plantings compared to being in the next best land use, being sheep and beef most likely?
Probably to paraphrase that, the economic opportunity cost or opportunity upside for Māori owners having access to exotics in the permanent category is a little bit about how long is a piece of string. So if we use the government's figures, the government suggests that there is 160,000 hectares of Māori owned land that could and should be utilised in the permanent category for various reasons. So therefore, a nice conservative number is 160,000. There are other reports that exist from Te Puni Kōkiri and a number of other MPI and one other source from memory that suggests that number should be closer to 300 to 400,000 hectares. But if we use the government's regulatory impact statement, it's 160,000 hectares, which is sufficient, and that reflects about 10% of Māori land holdings in New Zealand currently. And the numbers that should be multiplied by differ depending on who you are. But again, if you use the government's numbers, it's $50,000 per hectare as a net present value, which gives us $7 billion. But I prefer to use the current rule of thumb of $2,000 per hectare per annum. So on that basis, what are we talking? 1632 million per annum on that land. So that's the opportunity benefit of having exotics in the permanent category for Māori going forward.